Welcome to TGIF.
Well, it is good to be back after vacation. We love vacation. There's something about when you get away that it's like you're able to just put yourself somewhere totally different and kind of, I don't want to say forget everything, but it's that opportunity to...
Takes us to the word of the day, which is withdraw.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing because that's what vacation is supposed to be, that time to rejuvenate. And I think often we think that withdrawing always has a negative sense to it in terms of, well, I don't like what those people are doing, so I'm just going to remove myself and whatever, versus I think we're going to go somewhere different with withdraw today in a way that we need to make sure we're doing those things.
And we are, and I think the best place to look is to Jesus' life, because we do hear times when Jesus withdrew. So we're looking at Luke chapter 5, verses 15 and 16. But despite Jesus' instructions, the report of his power spread even faster. The vast crowds came to hear him preach and to be healed of their disease. But Jesus often withdrew to the wilderness for prayer. Jesus was gaining celebrity status that he didn't even want, because this is a story of a healing in which he told a leper, go back to the synagogue, but don't tell how you were healed. And we do hear him mention that. It's kind of odd that he doesn't want the word to get out, but he wants the healed person to interact with larger groups of people, with more people. And so, like we all are people, word gets out and the talk's out. So he begins to do these many miracles, and it just, by the very nature of humanity, he takes on this celebrity status. I think we see that in the world today. Mm-hmm. People cling to people because of their celebrity status and what they see them doing. So I think it's important that even as we see Jesus doing incredible things in ministry or in the lives of so many people, Jesus knew there was moments that he had to withdraw. And so I think that we have to try to understand the pressures. I can't even imagine the pressures yet. I can't even begin to understand that pressure. But yet, do we ever hear Jesus say, I'm overwhelmed, I'm burned out, I'm tired?
Or I need a vacation. His withdrawal was different than what we kind of were playing with at the beginning of this.
Absolutely is. And so I think it's a good reminder for us, the importance. And he withdrew to the wilderness. We were in the wilderness, or at least we looked out our nice bus at the wilderness as we drove along in Israel. But I think that it's so barren and vast. It's not like there's like a lot of beauty necessarily, although it has some beauty to it, but it's pretty barren and sparse. And so why would he choose to go there? But I think it's important for us to understand that what does the wilderness look like and how does it take place? Because there's another point in Luke 4, verse 42. Jesus had withdrawn to a solitary place, and when people found him, notice that, when people found him, so it's not that he's in a cave hiding someplace, he's just in a solitary place. So when we talk about our wildernesses, what do our wildernesses look like? And how do we withdraw in the midst of so much around us? Huge challenge. I think we have a couple things to look at today and how they fit together, but Jesus needed those moments to withdraw. We need them, but I think that we've lost our understanding of how desperately we need them. And if they only fit into 5 minutes here or 5 minutes there, is that really a withdrawal?
Right. And the two challenges I think it brings us to are schedules and distractions. We have a busy schedule. You have a busy schedule. Even retired people have a busy schedule. Sometimes it's that retired person that says they're busier than they were when they were in the workforce. Or being a grandma. We're going to be grandparents soon. Oh, that's so easy. And I know grandparents that are all over the place busy. And it's so easy to wrap up in all the good things. There's lots of good things that happen in our schedules, but we get so wrapped up and we don't allow for an interruption in our schedule that God may be trying to get our attention, pointing us to someone, pointing us to withdraw and be with him for however he's working in that moment. But those schedules.
Yeah, I mean, we'll complain when an interruption happens. It's like you're on schedule and everything's going on, and an interruption happens. We'll complain, we'll whine, rather than say, I wonder if God's trying to get my attention here. And really then that poses the question, have I withdrawn to be with God anytime lately? So it's just...
And even just getting in the car to come here today, I've had a super busy morning. I mean, that to-do list is shh. I get in the car and I turn the car on, and like the perfect song was on, Caleb, that sucked me in. And literally the drive from home to the church, I finished listening to it before I got out of the car, because it really just pulled me in. And knowing this was going to be our TGIF, it's like, oh my gosh, like God puts all those little things in our life that gives us that opportunity to draw. And in the midst of the song, I lifted prayer and praises at the same time.
That's how God works, huh?
It's a great interruption. And then those distractions, oh my goodness. And mine's over there going off, my watch is going off. They're all over the place. We have technology that is at our fingertips, and they are a distraction. I will admit it, because I want to know. But so instead of getting behind, I like to stay caught up on those emails. It's easier to stay caught up on those emails or on those messages. But we know what introduction of the
with the
iPhone did.
When the iPhone hit in 2007, it's like, for some reason, it filled us in with so much 24/7 information. And while we probably didn't see it at that moment coming, I can look back now and say, well, was I really set up before 2007 with those times of withdrawal to the wilderness? Or did I not really have them built in that well? And so then the phone and the 24/7 stuff just filled in naturally. I think I talked to a young person recently, and they admitted, they said, yeah, I just scroll. I mean, I sit there, they scroll and scroll and scroll, and they realized that and wanted to take on something more constructive. And so they were even looking, not that they found something more constructive, but it was interesting to note that they had acknowledged that. And they're like, no, I need to shift. And that's what we need to do with this. We need to shift our schedules and our distractions and say, are we building the time in to really be with God?
And I like how you said that. Needed something to change, needed to make a shift. And I think if we stop for a moment and look at our schedules on a daily basis, have we really allowed those opportunities to be able to still have that space to withdraw, meaning that time to be with Jesus in that solitude, knowing that it's not like you're just trying to avoid the world, like turn everything off, shut everything off, and ignore nobody can find you, because just like you said, Jesus wasn't hiding, but that place. Because when you're in that place and then that conflict happens or the bad news comes, you're in a whole different frame of this, of your spiritual connection to the Lord. You're going to respond different. You're going to handle it different because God's been there with you. And with the distractions, I don't know the answer to that, because they're everywhere. I can't even imagine these babies come out of the womb knowing how to operate an iPhone. I mean, that's the world we live in, and kudos to those parents. I talk to parents, and they limit screen time. They limit the video games. And I tell them from experience, don't let that guard down. I mean, how do we tell this next generation that feel that space and that time with the Lord and not just scrolling and things and things and things? And it's only going to get harder before it gets easier. And that's the importance of that community of faith coming together on Sundays and our Wednesdays that'll be starting up. Just that reminder, that's carved out space. Is it really withdrawing away from all? But the whole message of this is, in our busy lives, we need to withdraw from all the stuff and make sure we are spending that solitude time with the Lord. And look for every opportunity when He just kind of sneaks in and gives you a glimpse. And you're like, I know what that's about. So the question we leave you with, how do you withdraw to be with Jesus? And do you withdraw to be to Jesus? Or is it when I get the to-do list done? Or when I get this or that accomplished, then I will do that. So we'd love to hear from you how you spend that time. A lot of people have that morning devotion time or the evening devotion time, but it's important that we are withdrawing and being with the Father in the midst of the busy schedules and distractions. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on TGIF. Bye.